What is going on, guys? It is Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, and once again, it's another night of the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4. Just before how this works, I get into my overall thoughts and review, a quick little review. I rate the episode, and then we go into spoilers, and we're gonna spoil everything. So if there's a little lag right now, I'm sorry for the little lag. Just listen to my voice. But let's get into the just want to let you guys know I'm doing a Funko Pop giveaway, and you only have 2 more episodes after tonight to enter to win. So, because I will announce the winner at the end of this series. So, ta-da! This is Colossus Funko Pop. If you want to enter the chance to win this, all you have to do is follow the link I provide either in the description box or on the comment section. Just click on that video and subscribe to the channel. That's one thing you have to do. And then the second thing is you have to put down in the comment section hashtag X-Men, and I will announce the winner at the end of this series. So I'm going to yeah, let's dive right into it. So I was actually boy, Zemo was great. Zemo was great, and I liked Zemo more in this episode than I did last episode. I thought Zemo was way. This is what I wanted, a little bit more menacing in this episode, and he was fantastic in this episode. I thought there is a lot to like about this episode. There's a lot to like, but there's some things that necessarily wasn't that great. That I felt like some of the characters that we have already established they become more unlikable at the end of this episode. So I was a little torn. I mean, the beauty of this series is it looks just like a movie. Like you're watching it and you're just like, this is a movie. This is absolutely gorgeous. Cinematography is great. Some of the camera work is really, really good, spot on. This looks like this reminds me a lot of times of going back and watching Winter Soldier. You know, just the look of it, just the whole presentation. So kudos to Disney and Marvel putting money into these shows and making them look like you're in the cinema and you're watching a film. So I give kudos to that. I think that's what works about these series these that they're putting out there. That's why I'm looking forward to Loki a lot, because that kind of reminds me a little bit of Thor Ragnarok as well. So this episode has a lot of highs, but it kind of has a lot of lows in it. Like I said, Zemo is really great in this episode. We were teased in the last episode about Wakanda. We were teased about because they want to capture Zemo at this point. You get a little bit of history of Sebastian Stan, Winter Soldier, a little bit what he was doing in Wakanda. It was there was a lot of great things happening for sure in this episode. There was one particular shot though. There's one particular shot. It kind of reminded me of Wonder Woman 1984. It's a running shot, and I'm like, oh, that looks so bad. Uh, there is a reason why we hate this Captain America, John Walker. Like he is such an. Watching this episode was hard because, like, God, this guy is so unlikable. People really hate this Captain America. There was that. There was also the Flag Smashers. I felt like in this episode they were really driving home that the leader of this Flag Smashers was named Carly. Like people, I feel like this episode's like, oh, everybody's forgetting the name of this leader. So we need to drop Carly's name every single time in this episode. It was like ridiculous. Like I was like, okay, now I know it's Carly, but that doesn't necessarily mean I care about Carly. This episode, this character Carly, you understand what she's fighting for, and it seems like Marvel's kind of trying to play the sympathetic kind of like card down, but it doesn't work. I mean, last episode we saw her blow people up in a building. So in this episode, they throw some stuff in there where it's like you're trying to understand. She has a conversation with a certain character in this episode, and you like the conversation because this other character brings something to the table, and acting wise, he's really good at what he does. But it still doesn't make me like that this character, and it doesn't really like. I don't really care about the Flag Smashers. I think I'm more interested about the what was it, the Power Broker or whatever. Like I'm more interested in who the hell that is. But these kind of like revolutionary kind of people, they're viewed as terrorists, and they say you can view us as terrorists, or it depends on which side you are on the fence, right? So the storyline between the Flag Smashers, and there's only two more episodes. I really think they try to hit it home in this episode. I didn't think it worked necessarily. Some of it did, most of it didn't. I did like again I like the chemistry that Zemo has with Bucky and Sam. I like the tension. I feel like this was more of a more. This one wasn't them throwing a lot of shit at you like last episode, but this episode was more it was more tamed, I would say. It was definitely more of a straight shot kind of episode, right? Where we're trying to figure out, or where characters have they know what they need to do, and they're sent off to do it. So this episode wasn't as everywhere. It was kind of like grounded more. So I really appreciate that because I'm like they did throw in like they did try to have us get to know more of like the Flag Smashers and Carly, and they got thing as a Zemo, even understanding Zemo a little bit more in this episode. So I appreciate that. I just think some things did not work. I just think that the Flag Smashers storyline is just not that compelling. I was sitting there and watching this, and I was kind of like feeling just a little. I was feeling a little bit bored. Then the action sequences happen, and then there's some interactions that I was really engaged in, but some of it's just like I can't really, go with you guys on this one. This the Flag Smashers, like, you guys are doing stupid things. Honestly, you guys, I get it, but I don't. It was kind of a little bit frustrating when we had to. I was being named. Carly was being name dropped every single second. So but understandably, they really want, this is about them, and this is about like this mysterious figure too, and this is about Zemo, right? And I think so the thing about Zemo is you understand when he says something, he sticks with it, and you start understanding that this is the episode I wanted to understand, that this is the same Zemo from Avengers Civil War. This is the same guy, which I really, really appreciate that they, because last episode, it took a while to adjust, how he acted, and how a little bit it just didn't seem like the Zemo I knew from Civil War. But in this episode, it really brought me back in, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is Zemo. I'm really loving this. So Daniel does a fantastic job acting wise. The acting is spot on in a lot of these actors, even Wyatt Russell, I believe. New Cap, like, he does a good job. Like, he is there, and he does a great job of making you hate him. He does a great job of making you hate him, and sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you absolutely need that. So just to short it up, get done with the main review. It was in my opinion, it was still like kind of lopsided episode. Some things I really liked, some things I was like, okay, we'll get into that in the spoilers. It was riding high a little bit, and then just some things just happened. I was just like, oh, okay. But the beauty of this episode is it just looks like a film. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that they put money into the series, and it looks gorgeous. Honestly, it looks really, really gorgeous. And no, kudos to Marvel and Disney for really making the effort. Storyline and execution. Some of the execution was a little wonky. Storyline wise, some of the storylines you just kind of don't really care. Honestly, you're more interested in kind of some of the other ones, but we'll see what happens next episode. I mean, they only have two more episodes, so are you? It made me sit down and think, like, is this show better than Daredevil season 1 on Netflix? And I could tell you at this point, no, it's not. I wouldn't even think. I feel like the I feel like the show is not meeting the expectations. It's not horrible. It's not like I'm not trashing or anything like that. It's a nice, well, I like watching the show. I like seeing. I love how they're kind of Bucky gets more of a character development. So is Sam. Like you get to know. I love that the show is getting us to know more of these kind of side characters that weren't in the front. Right? They were not in the spotlight, and that makes the universe even better because when you go on to different movies and you go on to a team up movie or a show, you understand these characters' feelings with their families, what they've been through, and how they're dealing with it in today, right now, at this moment. So really appreciate that, and I think that's what the beauty of what these shows really bring. Now, I want them to get to a level as a Daredevil season one Netflix show because I think the writing on that is just superb, while the writing in here and the execution is just not on par. Unfortunately, I think the Netflix series, I'm comparing it to them because that's where I'm kind of trying to meet the standard at, especially when it comes to the action sequences. I think Netflix Marvel series had better action sequences than what this show is kind of presenting, and I don't want that to happen. You should have better action sequences here. Now they're good. They're not fantastic. They're good. Some action sequences that we've had in the series so far are really great, but I just find that you know what, it should be better, right? I feel like every time I watch an episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I always find myself like saying, "I like it, I like it," but I feel like it could be better, you know. So, but this episode, I was going for an 8 out of 10. It was at an 8 out of 10, and then some things happened, and then I was like, I'm gonna drop it to 7 out of 10. So I'm gonna give this episode a 7 out of 10, even though it has a big cliffhanger. I'll give you the reasons why in spoiler talk if you want to stick around and watch the spoilers, and I'll explain why I think that it kind of dropped a little bit towards the third act of this episode. So, 7 out of 10, my rating. You only have two more episodes, and then just, that's it. So let's get into the spoiler discussion. You have been warned. I'm going to type in spoiler. There we go. Spoiler. Thank you, Restream, for putting that out. I feel like okay. So finally, we all knew it was pretty predictable that somebody was going to get that serum, and it was Mr. Walker himself, New Cap, who got the serum. I did like the conversation that Zemo had with Sam, and asking Sam, "Would you take the serum?" And Sam, in a heartbeat, said no. And then you had that same conversation with was it Hopkins and New Cap, and Hoskins asking him, you're like, "Would you take that serum?" Or New Cap asking Hoskins, "Would you take that serum?" And right away he said, "Hell yeah, I would." So I like the parallels between all that. Now, so yes, he has the serum. There's this big major cliffhanger where Hoskins he dies, which was super surprising. That's what kind of really kind of saved this episode. Not save it, but it kind of elevated this episode a little bit more. So that's what I was kind of reeling for 8 out of 10 because I was like, oh, I did not expect that. But then in my back of my mind, before that death happened, I'm like, dude, New Cap and his partner kind of suck. Like they don't have superpowers. It shows. I'm all constantly getting beaten over the head like how many medals this guy has, but they kind of suck. And I don't blame Walker for taking that serum, honestly. And I just honestly just it was kind of crazy. It was like he just died. Now the problem I had with that scene was they're all fighting, and Carly in the whole episode is stating like she's killing people. She's killing people for her cause. Like they're the ones that are at the the wrong and all that stuff. So she has no problem. She even like threatens Sam's sister and threatens Sam himself. Like no hesitation that she will kill. She'll murder your. I will murder your sister. Yet when Hoskins dies, they all pause and they all call timeout. And New Cap goes and checks on Hoskins, and he's dead. You knew right away he's dead. And then Carly's all shocked, and her crew's all shocked, and they're just all standing around. They're just all standing around, and then they book it, and then the chase goes on, and then Sam and Bucky go after him, and then New Cap gets pissed. He's taking the super serum. He gets one of them, one of the guy who's been talking to Carly all episode, and then he murders him in front of everybody. that's how that's how Sam gets the shield basically. So odd, so odd. That's I was like, I like the death, but I hate the execution because everybody literally calls timeout and just stands there, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? What? Yeah, he's dead. Why are you? Why do you look sad and shocked? Like you literally were gonna kill. You were gonna kill New Cap, and whoever was gonna get in your way. So why are you? What is going on here? Why are you standing around? What the fuck? you know. So I did. That was so baffling to me. That was so baffling to me. The Carly and her crew would just call timeout, and they would just like let Walker, New Cap, have a moment with Hoskins. And I'm just like, this is very 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 weird. There's some weird moments in this episode. Another weird one was what I was talking about before the spoilers was when Carly is running, right? There's a scene where she's running. And it's very quick. It's very quick. And she has her hands like this. And it reminisces me of 1984 Wonder Woman when Gal Gadot's running. And it just looks so cheesy and really bad. It looks really, really, really bad. That was weird. But on the flip side, you know, Black Panthers, like I like to call them the Royal Guards. I know they said what they are, but it was really cool to see them in it. They want Zemo. I really the fight scene was a little subpar. I was hoping a little bit better than in the fight scene, and then they just fight for the excuse for writing wise. They just fight for Zemo to escape. And why does nobody ever just pay attention to Zemo? He is the most wanted man. Excuse me, most wanted man, and nobody can just like watch him. The worst babysitters ever. I swear. But Zemo was really good in this episode. I appreciate that. He wants to take out. He doesn't care. He does not care. If you are a super soldier, he will take you out. He's getting a little bit. I think he's liking Bucky a little bit, and that whole conversation with him and Sam. But he I love a villain who has motives, and he has motives, and he sticks with them, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I loved how he destroyed the serum. A lot of people thought he might take the serum, but no, he has morals, he has code, he has honor, and the dude destroyed a lot of almost all the serum. Of course, Walker got one of them. So, and then he straight out almost killed Carly. That's a boss, man. He even told Sam and Bucky, like, you guys don't have the balls to do it. Let me do it. I will do it. So I really appreciate that. I thought Zemo was way better in there. And then, of course, the Turkish Delight, which looked like taffy to me. Turkish Delight's disgusting if you ever had it before. There's many different Turkish Delights. But how he told the little girl, these are bad men. Like that was the Zemo I love, man. That's the Zemo that I really care for. So, and then Zemo's escape, that was a little comical because he just slips away. Nobody's babysitting him. I know they're occupied, but really, you guys really can't keep an eye on this guy. So, but I'm glad he's gone. He finally escaped. I called it. I said, like, there's no way, like, he's gonna escape, and he did. The Bucky and what's funny is that we do get a lot of Bucky and Sam conversation, but it never feels like it's a Bucky and Sam episode, like a series. Not like from the beginning. It feels like this is definitely a lot of characters in this. So we get Sharon Carter back in, which I was wondering if she was going to come into play like right away or later on, and she did. She got to she's in play right away. They use her. She's not in it very long. Sharon Carter is still very vanilla to me. She had a great action sequence, but they're not. Well, there's only two more episodes, so what really is she gonna do? I want to know who the power broker is. Who the hell's a power broker? I don't think it's her. I don't think it's her. The power broker once again threatens Carly, who Carly just fucks up and just absolutely all the serum is gone. Right, all the serum is gone. Walker takes what the last one. So yeah, Carly is going back to the non-spoiler. I don't like this character. Marvel or the writers were trying to make us sympathize with her in this episode, and you kind of do a little bit because her the person who was taken care of, like everybody's like mourning the death of like their kind of like their adopted mom basically, and but you don't care. You're like, you killed people in the building, and then you throughout the whole episode you're really threatening lives here. So why should I feel sympathy for you, right? And they're really name dropping your name a lot in this episode. I mean, I don't know how many times people were saying Carly, Carly, Carly. I mean, she is on the news, so I don't know. I feel like she's just doesn't really kind of compel me a lot. Like when she's on the screen, she doesn't have that screen presence. She doesn't have that screen presence. Even I think Sharon has a little bit of more of a screen presence. When the action sequences happen, and I got to say the action sequences in this episode was okay. It's not phenomenal, guys. It's not phenomenal, but it's good. It's good. It made me think like I was kind of like going back to like in my head John Wick. How those some of those scenes would like throw me off, especially with him using the gun like it was like a sword. So these action sequences, they're not as good as Winter Soldier, but they're good. So like I said, like this whole series is good, but it could be better. And that's not a 1984. That's not a reference from 1984 Maxwell Lord, okay? But there's a lot to like here. I really feel like they did Zemo a lot better in this episode, honestly. There's no dancing. He's straight to the point. And he doesn't give a fuck. He will murder a child. She looks like a child, but I think she's definitely older than that. I think she is, or she's like at least I don't know. She's not a child, right? But Zemo almost took her out. There is not a lot. There's not a lot of craziness that's happened in this episode other than the finale, right? With Walker doing killing somebody in public, and most likely his shield's gonna be gone. Now he has a serum. I believe, yeah, he took the serum, so now he has these. I think he's gonna mess with his mind a lot. So now you see the villain come out. Everybody knew that he was gonna become a villain. That's what happened. He absolutely is a piece of crap. Like, he's not a piece of crap. He's just absolutely unlikable, though. I mean, you try to like the guy, but this whole episode, and then turning evil pretty much like he's such an unlikable character, and it's just his look, it's him even just taking over the shield. Kudos to Wyatt Russell. He knows he's gonna get a lot of hate. So yeah, he's just such an unlikable guy. So now he's the villain. So okay, cool. Or not a villain, but he's committed, he's committed crimes. So okay, I'm all on board of him like giving up the shield now. The beginning of the episode was pretty good. Or just going back to Bucky trying to tame, trying to resist the codes that get him triggered to be Winter Soldier, and he does. And that was a great acting scene by Sebastian Stan. I thought he did a fantastic job on that scene. You really see the tears come out of his eyes. So that was a great scene. And the episode was fine. I would give it an 8 if it was executed better. But it's a 7 out of 10 because there's a lot of goofiness in there. There's a lot of like, things that kind of like really you scratch your head on. I was also thinking throughout the whole episode. This is funny. I was thinking a lot of like different things while I was watching this episode. I was like entertained but yet a little bit bored at the same time. And then I was just thinking like, dude, Punisher would get the shit done right away, right? Punisher, no, take no names, would get this shit done right away. I feel like there's a lot of standing around and not enough action. I do like the fact that approached it as a peaceful kind of like getting to know Carly. Because what's great about Anthony Mackie is he does have that like it's basically him in real life. He feels like you could talk to anybody. I feel like he could talk to anybody. So I really enjoyed Sam's interaction. I like Sam a lot as a character. He's really growing on me. I do like the dynamic between Bucky and Sam. I found it like very quaint that they were at like this little. It felt like they were like at a little hotel, and freaking Zemo's making tea and he's giving out candy. I love the one scene where Bucky just throws the damn jasmine tea. There's some good jokes in here too, like when they said that when he what was it? Zemo tilts his head. They made fun of that, and then Walker tilts his head. I noticed that. Lot of great humor in here for sure. Hey, what's going on? Trep. Walker has a temper. He's gonna lose the shield either by giving it up willingly or forcing me, the government, or Bucky. Yeah, so definitely giving up the shield. We've seen the promos, we've seen the trailers. At some point, Sam does get the shield. I think. Thank you for joining in here. I honestly think that this episode was I was gonna give it an 8 out of 10, but there was a little bit of wonkiness in here, and I was just like kind of not. And there's just little strange moments, so I'd give it a 7 out of 10. So that's what I'm saying is that this series is good, but you know it could be better, and you know you've seen better, and you feel like this is what they're presenting, and we only have two more episodes. We only have two more episodes, so I'm a little bit. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like underwhelmed. I guess underwhelmed for this series. I think a lot of people are looking forward more of Loki series, so it's a shame. I still think the series is not bad at all. There's a lot to like here. There's a lot of things that they've done that's like I said, just the characters in general. You get to know more of these characters. But New Cap turning the turning point here. I guess it just depends on if you care or not. You know, do you care about like that storyline? Are you caring about the Flag Smasher storyline? Are you more interested in a power broker? Are you more did you want more Zemo being the more of the villain? It's very odd, right? That Zemo's not the main villain. It's more of I guess the Flag Smashers, right? I feel like there's not I feel like and the Flag Smashers technically are just kind of like they're not straight out full villain. You know, they do have a cause. Sam agrees with their cause. He just doesn't agree with the method. So I think this series does that definitely has a little issue on villainy. I guess. I guess they thought they tried to do a little too much on. They went. They really tried to layer the villains, but honestly, they're doing a better job with Zemo than they're doing with the Flag Smashers. The Flag Smashers are just really not that engaging. I really don't really care for Carly. I did like the scene with her and Sam's sisters talking on the phone, but then it made me like hate her even more. Like you're so I don't know what you're so hypocritical, honestly. So it wasn't a you know there's not that too much craziness that's happened in this episode, which is kind of crazy, right? There should be, I mean, with a lot of things that were going on in this episode, you think it would be there would be more to kind of like talk about it, but it's honestly straight to the point. This episode was straight to the point. Last episode was a little bit more to chew on. We may not get all the answers we expect by the end of the last episode. Marvel might leave us hanging. It feels like that, like a lot. It feels like that a lot. There's only two episodes. I don't think we're gonna get the Power Broker until maybe like the season finale, like towards the end, maybe. You might see Carly make it to the end, and then the Power Broker reveals themselves and kills her. Um, there's so many, I guess, questions going. I don't know. I don't know. Like, what's gonna happen to Walker at the end, towards the end of this series? Um, there will be questions probably. This really feels like, other than WandaVision, where you thought they would tie, or finish all the loose ends, at least most of them towards the end. I feel like we're gonna get more questions on this season of the Falcon and Winter Soldier than we are for WandaVision, which is crazy, right? Because you're gonna probably get questions like, okay, what's gonna happen to Walker next, or what's gonna happen to Sharon Carter? Where's Zemo at this point? There's gonna be a lot of things. Is the serum, is that the last of it? What, like, Walker now is a super soldier. How is that gonna affect him? There's so many questions. Who the power broker is? So many questions. Definitely a lot of questions. But you know what? That's kind of it. That's kind of it. Maybe it's just because it's like really late for me. But I just, this, it's okay. It's okay. If I'm gonna be honest with you, the series is okay. I think I was more pumped for WandaVision when it was on the roll until it got to the season finale than I am on this season. And I don't want to shit on this. I think it's fine. I think it has an audience. But to me, it's definitely kind of underwhelming, and I really want to like it. And there's really good things in it, and I really appreciate what the characters are presenting. But then I think what's not you for a good hero, you need a fantastic villain, right? And I feel like the villains, Zemo is technically a villain, but he's not really the main villain. It's the Flag Smashers, and I think that's what's kind of bringing this show a little bit down. Like, you just don't really care. There's no really screen presence from Carly. It's very some of the shots and some of the action sequences are just not as great, but it looks beautiful. You really like Sam. You really like what Bucky's doing. You're interested to see who the hell the power broker is. You like the concept of really talking about super soldiers again. Maybe the Red Skull somehow is going to come back. Who knows? But yeah. Thank you, Trep, for coming in. I usually have a different kind of streaming way, and I usually go straight to YouTube, but for some reason it wasn't working tonight. So usually we get a little bit more heat when we do that. So we'll do that next time. But yeah, will Isaiah Bradley show back up? Will Zemo meet Isaiah? You know what? That's a great one, right? You would think Zemo would. You would think Zemo would. I mean, but they kept it so under wraps. And they did mention it, though. I think Sam mentioned it to Carly. Yeah, he mentioned it to Carly about supremacy and stuff. Zemo's plan is to just, take out everybody, all the super soldiers, even Bucky at one point. And you know what? They keep showing the scene where Bucky is holding a gun to Zemo's face and bullets are dropping. But that wasn't again. That scene wasn't in this episode, so that's going to happen probably next. They're probably going to catch Zemo now. I don't know. That's odd, right? Why would they put that? I don't know. Why would they put that scene in this promo if it doesn't show up? So, but Zemo will probably meet Isaiah. I'm looking forward to seeing maybe Isaiah back in it. I liked how they introduced that. So we'll see. But yeah, not too much. Not too much. We're 2 more episodes. We'll see how it goes. But I want to thank you, Trep, for coming in, chatting with me a little bit. I need to get to sleep, to bed. I mean, 7 out of 10. I was trying to give it an 8 out of 10, but there was a little wonkiness, and it was just very odd how they played timeout and they just let. I don't know. It was very weird, very weird. But 7 out of 10 for me. It's an okay series so far. It should be better. But there is a lot to like, and I do like I like the scene Wakanda in here a little bit. So thank you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. Remember to follow that Funko Pop giveaway link either on the description box or on the top of the comment section, and like the video to support the channel. And have a good night, guys.